Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of Inside Leatherneck Athletics. I'm Nick Ficarrotta. Today, joining me is a track and field athlete who is not only dedicated to his school, but to his country as well. Joining me today, pole vaulter Tyler Hintz. How you doing, Tyler?
Pretty good, and yourself?
Pretty good. Now, this is your first year on the track team, as I understand. Run me through the process of how you got onto the track team.
Well, I pole vaulted all 4 years of high school, and then I got an email from one of the coaches saying that they had open tryouts, so decided to come on by.
And you're a sophomore, so being a walk-on, how does that relate to being like a scholarship athlete?
It's, really no different. It's basically one of the things where I still practice with the team, still compete with them. It was just one of those things where I had to kind of get back into the swing of things from being off in the sport for a year, which isn't really the easiest thing in the world.
Now, last year, being a freshman, you were starting into the ROTC program. What got you into that?
Into ROTC?
Yes.
Well, ever since a little kid, I was always had that dream of being the Army guy or whatever, and it was one of those things where the dream never went away, and then I also wanted to get a college education, and found out about ROTC, was going to Western, found out they had ROTC, so decided to do it.
Now, for those of people out there that don't know what ROTC is, can you kind of give us what a rundown of ROTC is actually like and what the time commitment is to it?
Well, basically, it's all 4 years throughout your college career. You learn about the Army, you learn about your career in the Army. You do PT tests, you go on field training exercises, and you basically train your 4 years to become an officer in the United States Army. And once you graduate, you commission as a second lieutenant. And from there, you'll go get further training, and then you'll get deployed to wherever it is you're going.
Now, last year, ROTC, this year, ROTC and track team. What are you doing time-wise in order to commit to both?
Well, I basically don't have any free time anymore. I get up at 6 a.m. for track every day. I have practice at 7 a.m. till 9 a.m. on some days. And then afterwards, school throughout the day, ROTC throughout the day. I try and make it to labs if I don't have practice at that time. And I basically don't go to bed till 2 o'clock in the morning every day from getting stuff done. So.
How does that affect your schooling then?
Well, right now I'm also pledging for a fraternity right now, and we have mandatory library hours to go to, so that's been helping a lot so I can keep up with my schoolwork, so grades really aren't suffering at all.
Well, that's good. Going back to your track season, you got the Calhoun event coming up pretty soon. What's your mindset going into the Calhoun event?
Well, I'm pretty determined to do well. I haven't exactly done as well as I wanted to this year. Like I said, coming back from a year off a pole vault isn't an easy thing to do. It's not one of the sports you can do that pretty efficiently. But I'm feeling good for it. I got family and friends coming up to see the meet, and because it's mill ball, so that weekend for ROTC, and I really want to do well, in front of a home crowd, in front of family and friends.
Now, at your practices, what else do you do besides actually going over the vault? Like, do you do weight training? Do you do running, cardio? What else do you do at practice?
We jump 2 days a week. Today, I believe we're jumping, but 3 days a week we have lifting, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. And then throughout the week, every day we have conditioning stuff, whether it be core work or speed work, hills, stairs, stuff like that. And
all that practice and training, that makes up for not going to PT in the morning with the ROTC? Yeah,
it's a different kind of training in my opinion. It's one of those things where with PT, with our test for PT, it's more of an endurance test. More of the stuff that we're doing for track is more like power and quickness and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So it kind of is a little bit of give and take.
Okay. And how do your instructors deal with you being gone, not being able to mingle with your fellow ROTC cadets? Since you're not at PT in the morning and you're doing PT on your own, how do the instructors deal with that? Is there like certain process you have to go through or anything?
Well, it's one of those things where I had to talk to my instructor, who's Colonel Pickett right now. Told him, I'm on the track team, so he said, okay, because you have track in the morning, you don't have to go to PT. I'm still going to class twice a week when we have our scheduled classes. Like I said, I try to make it to labs when I can. But it's one of those things where it's just trying to manage what time I have and put it in every place that I can.
Now, next year is your junior year, and that's usually the hardest year for all ROTC cadets. How are you going to deal with being on the track team and then being in leadership in ROTC for all of next year?
It's one of those things where I'm going to have to put ROTC first next year because, I am a contract cadet. It's the biggest year. It's the one that determines your career. So it's one of those things where I'm going to have to say, okay, ROTC comes first, and then when I have time for track, then I'll have to do that.
Awesome. Well, Tyler, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
For more information on upcoming events, please go to goleathernecks.com. For Inside Leatherneck Athletics, I'm Nick Ficarrotta.